There is so much, this photo says. Two giants of their trade seated side by side, with enormous affection bouncing between. There is nobody I know who has delved into sumo as deeply as Mr. Sugiyama, reads Hakuho's green text endorsement, which captures only a part of their special relationship. Kunihiro Sugiyama, the legendary commentator who turned 91 this week, is Hakuho's confidant-in-chief. In 2010, when pursuing Futabayama's decades-old successive win record, Hakuho came across a Futabayama quote, or rather telegram sent, on the day his streak ended. "The fighting cock is still not ready," were the words. Unsure as to their meaning, he went to Sugiyama, who wrote that meaning out in his finest hand. The phrase refers to an old Chinese fable of a king eager to get his cocks fighting, only to be repeatedly told by the breeder, "Patience, please, they are not yet ready." The breeder then explains the qualities and temperament they acquire at each stage of the rearing process, until absolutely nothing can startle them. Hakuho promptly fell in love with the story, and decided that if Futabayama felt humble enough to admit his imperfections, then so should he. When Kiseno Sato ended his own streak later that year, Hakuho's ice-cool reaction impressed Sugiyama, who recalls, "He may have lost that bout, but he was so Futabayama-like, just accepting defeat and walking down the aisle as if nothing had happened. Those were the days when Hakuho sparkled brightest." Fast forward to mid-2021, and Hakuho forced to stake his career on July. The Yokozuna felt the phrase "shintai o kakeru" was being loosely applied by the media, and texted Sugiyama for advice. "I think this phrase is not coterminous with 'last chance,'" Hakuho wrote. "Doesn't it rather mean I have a choice on whether to continue or not?" Sugiyama thought about the nuance of the Japanese characters and replied, "The option to go on is indeed implied. It's your call." So when Hakuho said this in his last title interview,
6月入ってから進むのか止まるのかっていう感じの意味を理解しまして、これでまた進めることですから。
It was Sugiyama's text message to which he referred. Which is why, when Sugiyama was asked to join the journalistic chorus decrying this elbow shot, he refused, saying, "Okay, I can't praise that, but I don't need to criticize him. All I've seen are the powerful feelings of a fighter who's been out for a year and wanted that title come what may." For Sugiyama, it was joyful to see Hakuho fight with a purpose again. For the 6 years since breaking Taiho's record for titles won, Hakuho had fought on without one, and Sugiyama alone stressed the pain of the void. For his bond with Hakuho runs deeper than mere man-to-man connection. It seems to both men to be rooted in shared destiny. In 1968, Sugiyama was dispatched by NHK to the Mexico Olympics, where he commentated on 12 events, including freestyle wrestling. The silver medalist that year, as you may know, was Jigjidin Munkhat, Hakuho's father. And there is Mongolia's first Olympic medalist, all smiles as he waves to the main stand, Sugiyama said during the closing ceremony. 38 years later, he would be sat next to that same man in the Kokugikan at the moment his son claimed his first Emperor's Cup. And once Hakuho himself heard that 1968 recording of Sugiyama's voice, he knew he had an ally for good.